Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the ways that I use to manipulate text data in Excel. When you work in an office, you're often asked to present data on a report in a different format than you have it. So, for example, on this file I have first name in one column and last name in another column. But the user wants me to put the full name in one column and they want it formatted last name, comma, space, first name. In that case, there are a couple of different things that I can do. One of them is I can just simply use the and sign. So basically in the cell, I would say the cell equals, and then I'm going to click on the last name, and then I'll type the and sign to join another set of data. And because there's nowhere on this report that I already have a comma and a space, what I can do is I can open a quotation and then type comma, space, and close that quotation. So now I have last name, comma, space, and then I'm going to add another and sign and click on the first name. And it's that simple. Then I hit enter, and there I have Johnson, comma, space, Mary. And in case you don't know, when you click on a cell, if you hover over the bottom right corner of it, you get a plus sign. And when you see that plus sign, you can double click, and it will drop the formula down for you. Okay, another option that you have to concatenate is to use the concatenate formula. So in the next column, I'm going to show you how to do that. Here I would just say equals, and then I would type the name of the formula, concatenate, and you see it already pops up for me. I can just hit tab. And whenever you when you start a formula, you type the name of the formula and open a parenthesis. So now if you see down the underneath, I have some little tips related to that formula, and it's telling me I can enter it, a text, and then a comma, and then a text, and then a comma, and so on to keep joining strings together. So what I would do here is I would say equals concatenate. I would click on Johnson, the last name, then I would type a comma instead of using the and sign. And then again, I have nowhere on the report with the comma space, so I have to do an open quotation, comma, space, and that will insert that for me. So now I have last name, comma, space, and then I do a comma again to move to the next text, and I click on the first name. And you always want to close your formula with a parenthesis. And now I hit enter, and there you see it's the same way, Johnson, comma, space, Mary, but there's just two different ways to get it. So I prefer to use the and sign. It's just easier. I just keep adding and for as much as I want to concatenate. But you might prefer to use the concatenate formula. So there you go. Okay, the next thing that I want to show you is how to parse data. When I showed you how to concatenate data, I was showing you how to join different strings together. And now I'm going to show you basically how to pull pieces of those strings out. So there are three powerful formulas you can use in Excel to parse strings. They are either left, mid, and right formulas. So for example, let's say the user wants to see only the area code on the report. In order to do that, I can use the left formula to pull the area code off of the phone number. So what I would do is I would say equals left, open parenthesis, and the first thing that it wants to know is left of what? So I'm going to click on the phone number and say left of that text, and then I say comma to move to the next parameter of the formula, and it's asking me how many characters. So what that's saying is from the beginning, how many characters do I want you to pull from the left? Which for the area code is 3. So I want that 781. Then I would close the formula with the parenthesis and hit enter. And now I have an area code. Again, I'm going to go up here, go to the bottom of the right of the cell, and double click to drop the formula down. Now let's say for some odd reason they want to have the last 4 digits of the phone number broken out. Well, in that case, I can use the right formula. In order to use the right formula, you just say equals right, open parenthesis. And now, just like the left formula, the first thing it wants to know is right of what? So I'm going to click on the phone number, type a comma to move to the next parameter of the formula, and the next thing that it's asking me is how many characters. So for this, they want the 4 characters on the right, which is the last 4 digits. So I'm going to type a 4, close my parenthesis, enter, and now I have the last 4 characters of that string. Double click, and there I go. Now the last formula that I want to show you to parse data is the mid formula. And what this one will allow me to get is, let's say they wanted that 555 out of the phone number. How I would do the mid formula is I would say equals mid, open parenthesis. Again, it's asking me middle of what. Then I type a comma. And if you see below, it's highlighting 2 different parameters. The first thing that it's asking me after I tell it what data to use is where should it start. So if I want to start at the first 5 in 781-555, I'm going to say give me start at the 5th character. And then the next thing it asks me is how many characters do I want after I start there. So including that 5th character, I want 3. So I want the 555. Then I close the parentheses to end the formula and hit enter, and now I get the 555. Again, I'll drop that down. So now that I've shown you how to concatenate data and to parse it, I'm going to show you how to use the 2 of them to combine an email address. So in this example, Mary Johnson works at somecompany.com. And the format for the email there is the first letter of her first name, followed by her full last name, followed by @somecompany.com. So first I'll show you how to do that in separate cells, and then I'll show you how to combine it all together in one cell. So first I'll use the left formula. I'll say equals left, click on her first name, and say 1 character, close the parenthesis, and now I have the M. Next, I'm going to select her full name, so I can just say equals and click on her last name, sorry. And that will give me the Johnson. So to pull these 2 together, all I have to say is equals M and her last name. And now, since I don't have @somecompany.com in a cell anywhere on the spreadsheet, I can just simply open a quotation and type in @somecompany.com and then close my quotations. So that gives me the mjohnson@somecompany.com. Now, instead of breaking this out into 3 separate columns, I could just type it all in one column. How I would do that is I would say equals left, Mary, 1 character, and then after that formula, I can just type an and sign. And select the last name, and open my quotation, @somecompany.com. Oops, what is it telling me? Oops, okay. And what that was saying is I forgot to close my quotation. So then I can hit enter, and there I go, mjohnson@somecompany.com. So I'll go up here, I'll double click to drop my formula down, and it automatically fills it in for Beth Parker and Tom Jones. Now, one last thing I want to show you when you're concatenating and you're manipulating text data is that each of these formulas are still referencing another cell. So like this is still referencing Mary. If I deleted the column that has this first name in it, I would get a pound ref error. So let me show you what that looks like. Delete. And I'm getting that, and it's basically a reference error saying it doesn't know what I'm talking about, basically. So if I undo that, let me show you one thing you can do. You can make so let's say that you have this report and you have your template, and you're going to be adding information every month or whatever and maintaining some list, and you want to keep your formulas and you want to keep your data. Well, then you can make a copy of the report and range value the formulas. What I mean, it pays special value them. So how you would do that is I can highlight all of these formulas. I can right click and say copy, right click again, paste special values. So now, if you look up top here, there's no more formula there. It's just the actual value of what the formula was. So now I can go ahead on my report and right click and delete these columns without causing a pound ref error, so the user doesn't get any errors if something's deleted. But there you see, there's my pound ref error because I deleted the M. Thank you for watching my video on concatenating and parsing text data in Excel. I hope this information is useful for you. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Sharing Knowledge. The next video I post will show you some of the date functions and formatting dates in Excel.